You ever wonder what happened to Jack Wright and Sienna May? Me too, and apparently Ethan too. So, hey, what's up? Today I have a video from Ethan Klein titled Jack Wright and Sienna May. We're gonna figure out what happened to them since that TikTok explosion last year, and hopefully we get some answers. If you like the content, please drop a sub. Tell me what you think about this whole situation, and yeah, let's get it. Oh, give me 1 second here. I'm going to remove this Spotify. Boom, not playing any music. All right, here we go.
What is up, everybody? Back with another video. Today we are talking about what happened between two popular TikTok people, Sienna May and Jack Wright. I believe his name is right. Right?
Yes.
Jack Wright. This is a really interesting story.
Oh, God.
Interesting is not the right word, but allegedly what happened here is that this girl, Sienna May, has been essaying her kind of fake boyfriend. They had kind of like a pseudo relationship online for TikTok, Jack Wright. And I remember when this story broke, there was a video that one of his friends put online, being like, "Yo, this."
Yo, so everybody's seen that video. Everybody's seen that video, and I don't know. I don't know if I should say what it looked like, but hey, babe, what did that video look like of Sienna May and Jack Wright? What do you think? Like, what did it look like she was doing to him? That's why I said, what do you think of the one video? So there's that. Yeah, exactly. Basically she said that he was sleeping, she, got on top of him, I don't know if it was a skit or whatever, but he never said anything about it, so we're about to find
This kind of
out.
stuff she's doing to him is not okay. And what it showed a kind of blackout Jack Wright and Sienna May on top of him, touching him in the nethers, kissing up on him and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But he was blackout, right? And so it looked, I remember that video, it looked quite bad to me,
It did to me too.
But it kind of turned into like she defended herself, and Jack, the fellow here in the video, never spoke on it, actually.
Right.
He never said anything publicly, so it kind of just died down. And a lot of people continue to be friends with Sienna and collaborate with her.
Oh yeah, big time.
Dave Porkboy,
and there are tons of people that still, obviously follow her, so
enemy of the show, was speaking highly of her, saying that people were just trying to cancel her and stuff. And maybe that's understandable to an extent, because I don't know how much people on the internet thought they were actually dating, right? Obviously, no means no, no matter if you're dating or not. But regardless, okay. Jack finally released a video about it and explaining in kind of great detail what happened between them and how it affected him. The reason I'm actually talking about it is I find it's really interesting. We've come a long way when it comes to women survivors of SA. They tend to get a lot of respect, and you hear stuff like "believe all women," stuff like that, right? But there's still a lot of stigma around men survivors, what they go through. And, it is kind of an interesting phenomenon in that, like, obviously being a survivor is traumatic and horrible by itself.
exactly.
Being a man,
all in its own.
I don't want to say it's... who can
Being
say
a
which is
survivor
worse?
of
That's like a
anything,
ridiculous
really.
premise, but men
That's
have
the
their
whole
own
premise,
complications,
you
let's say, with it,
survived.
in that people don't understand what it is like as a man to be essayed, and people don't.
And you know what? I don't know if Ethan has any experience, but you definitely don't have any. You have no real perspective of what it's like.
Understand how it happens. There's a lot of things like, oh, come on, dude, that's awesome, don't complain. There's a lot of that, and you see that even.
There's a few.
You
of
even
that.
see that when it comes to teachers that
I think
had
it's
inappropriate
more
relations
done
with their
when it's,
students, and
like,
I'm talking maybe like 13,
younger.
14,
Yeah,
15, and the
exactly.
headline and the joke was always like, oh, sick, dude, I would kill to be that kid when I was that age, and well, obviously, in truth, it's just as damn
Eating an acai bowl my girl made. My dog is staring at me eat it.
damaging, and it's just as traumatic for men as it is for women or boys or girls.
Or anybody.
So it is a kind of an interesting. This is a very specific, very interesting, very public case of the man who's on the receiving end of the essay, and kind of listening to him explain how hard it's been as a man to cope with being able to talk about, having people understand what he's going through. So I want to watch this video with you guys.
It looks like
Comment.
he's
There is something I do
crying,
want to say
bro.
right off the bat, is that both of these individuals involved in this are 18. Okay, so I mean, these are young people. These are young people. So let's just consider that, okay, as we watch this. These are not,
Adults.
let's just
Full-blown
take
adults, at least.
that into consideration before passing judgment on any of these people. Not defending anybody or anything, but these are 18-year-olds, okay? So just want to put that out there. They're not 30. They're not 40, right? Okay. All right, let's take a look. What does Jack Wright have to say about this?
What Sienna did to me.
I just want to clarify that we both knew that we were just friends. She was sitting and talking to other guys in LA all the time, and I just thought of her as a good friend. We were making videos, we were making dance trends, we had fun. It was just strictly friends, and we both knew that. At this point, nothing inappropriate was happening between us. We were just friends, everything was fine. This next part of the video is very difficult for me to talk about. I've been wanting to talk about it for a long time. So the first incident where Sienna crossed boundaries, it was after filming. We went to the room. I was just chilling on my phone on the bed, and she got naked, like completely naked, nothing on, and straddled me when I was literally just chilling on the bed. But I didn't know what to do in like the situation because it was like random and weird.
And it's like, I kind of feel like he was like, what's going on? Like, for real, like, are you drunk? Like, what's going on? Right? Because you don't want to make any sudden actions just because, somebody's fucking getting butt naked in front of you.
Quickly told
You gotta sense the vibe.
her, Sienna, get off. We're just friends. Stop. They're trying to make out with me.
See, there you go. We're friends. Get that off me. I know you're just playing with me.
Like just doing a bunch of things to me, and I kept on saying, Sienna, stop, get off. I didn't want to like be like aggressive. I didn't want to hurt her, So I pulled her off of me, and it took like a couple tries because I didn't want to be like too rough. And
right. And that's another thing. Let's say it was being too rough, and he like pushed her off of her, and all of a sudden now she has like a busted nose because she fell into the freaking closet. Would have turned into something else.
I went out of the room, and that was like the end of it. The next morning, where she was like,
Yeah, I mean, again, like, as a man, it's hard to talk about that in a way where people can understand that it was actually a traumatic incident, right? And even to the point where he continued to have a relationship with her after that. Because, I mean, obviously you can imagine if the genders were reversed, and a dude dropped trow, got fully,
Naked.
fully out.
Yeah. And got on top of that girl, even if he didn't force himself on her, right? What if she pushed him into the closet and now he has a busted nose? Would anybody be in defense with him or collaborate with him after that? Who knows?
And climbed on top. That would be a very different situation. Obviously, there's different, like, I don't know. Yeah, but clearly that's wild, right? Like that's very bad behavior, and it's hard. It's so hard to come out and be like, yo, don't ever talk to me again. If it was reversed, it'd be kind of a police situation, most likely, right? Or just tell everybody to avoid this guy.
See?
So, yeah, I can imagine that it's weird. It's a weird spot to be in for him.
I'm so sorry for doing that. I don't know what went through my head. I had to clarify again that I didn't like her that way. We were just friends. She said sorry. That was it. After that, these type of things kept happening. She would do something, and I would forgive her, and she said it wouldn't happen again, and we'd go on making fun videos. After all those type of things kept on happening, the Hawaii incident happened where I was passed out unconscious almost like the whole night. She got on top of me, took advantage of me, groped me. I'm so glad they pulled her off of me, and honestly, I'm glad that they have evidence.
I mean, the fact that his friends were there and thought it was so weird, because she's trying to spin it like, oh, we were just hooking up like normal,
And that's the thing. When you have ride or dies like them that are like gonna pull somebody off you because you're unconscious and you can't make decisions for yourself, instead of being like, yo, this man is like such an alpha, he's getting play even if he's asleep. If you have friends like that, keep them around. They're definitely the ride or die.
Oh, his friends thought it was so weird that they thought to get out their cameras and record it. It made them so uncomfortable.
Good.
So, yeah, ultimately we have to hold accountability for both genders in this situation when it's like someone preying on another, right? Like we can't blame him for what she did, right? Because it's easy to say he should have distanced himself. He should have said no. He should have whatever. Told the police. We have to have the same energy, right, for for both genders when they're victimized.
Apparently
It's a
you said
hard,
no plenty of
complex
times.
situation for this young man to deal with.
After Sienna found out about the video, she said sorry. She said if this got out, she would be done. That is horrible, and she's working on boundaries, and she was seeking therapy.
Working on boundaries after he had multiple times told her, yo, can you chill the hell out? Like, and I'm not asking for this. That's so weird.
And shortly after, there was a party. I was taking pictures with a couple other girls. We took a picture. Sienna came in, started screaming at me, got mad at the girls, told me to come to her room to talk to me. She started screaming at me, and I was like, Sienna, there's no reason for you to be mad when you're getting with other guys in LA. I can't just take a simple picture with a couple girls. That's when she pulled me in and grabbed me and tried to make out with me, and I got pissed and told her to leave. I wanted to stay at the party, and she kind of had already been yelling at every single person in the party. So two friends wanted to take her home, and while the car was moving, she jumped out of the car, rolled, and said, I have to get back to Jack. So I ran back to the house, and I was like hiding from her, and I was just waiting for her parents to finally pick her up. Looking back now, I don't know why I stayed friends with her, stayed around her. I truly thought she was gonna change or something.
Yo, these are signs of a actual psychopath. Have you ever jumped out of a moving car? I've never jumped out of a moving car either. And that's why I said, yo, was she drunk? Like, there's no way she was stone cold sober. Jumped out of a moving car, tuck and rolled, and then sprinted back to the house saying, I need to get back to Jack. This is not the Titanic, bro.
For some reason, I feel like she'd say she had so much love for me and that she truly cared for me, and then the next night she would do something like that. She knew I had those boundaries.
She was gaslighting him.
Yeah, again, it's like he's gonna go through the same emotions. He's gonna blame himself that he should have done something.
And he's getting it out there before anybody else can say that he should have done something. He's saying that himself because obviously people are gonna be like, yo, why didn't you just like remove yourself from the situation? But again, think of it from the other side, right? People go through friendships and don't want to lose people as friends and give them the benefit of the doubt a few times, more than a few times in some cases, like this one. Just because, you know, it's hard to lose people that you really care about.
Yeah, it's not his fault. I mean, he got SA'd, you know, that's just what it is. It sucks. You can see it really affects him too, and a lot of people, it's got to be hard when there's a lot of people in mainstream, you know, influencer culture who are saying they're just trying to cancel her. He's overreacting, you know, they were dating or whatever. You know, that's just as disgusting as blaming a woman who's a victim, which happens a lot too, right?
It is.
But I would say in Jack's case, because there's always like people who can wedge doubt in these accusations and be like, oh well, we don't know for sure, so I'm just going to trust the guy that I like. But in Jack's case, there is extraordinary evidence supporting him. I mean, that video clip alone is pretty extraordinary, and a lot of people corroborating his story too.
So when I was at my most like vulnerable state, like when I was arguing, getting heated, or when I was...
Part of me too wants to defend her in a way like she's just 18. You know, maybe she just needs to see a therapist. But like, would I have that same energy for a man who did this to a woman? Probably not. You know, I probably wouldn't. So, what is that? It's just weird how we have, I don't know, my own bias, right? I don't know what's the appropriate punishment for her, but like, yeah, I acknowledge I do also have that bias.
Asleep or passed out. That's when she would take advantage of me because she knew I was in my most vulnerable state. When I'm awake, I hated it. I hated that touch. I hated any intimacy with her because I knew her just...
Yeah, I mean, if a dude gropes a blacked out woman, that's just straight up jail, bro. Go to jail. Do not collect the $200. That's just messed up. We don't have that same energy for what happens to a dude. We really don't.
Friends, I didn't want that from her, and especially with like the past couple things she did. I didn't want anything to do with that. Over the next couple of months, I was stuck in this toxic cycle. I was stuck with her crying to all my friends, saying that I didn't like her back, and why don't I like her back, and she would get mad at me for not caring about her as much as she cared about for me, but she'd also be doing these things to me. I would go see other guys in LA, so it was like I couldn't get out of this. She would constantly come to my house, remember my door codes. It got to the point where I had to like start screaming at her to like get out of my house because I was so sick of her just like breaking into my house. I would wake up and see her car just sitting outside at like 2 in the morning. She would break into my house, and when I was sound asleep, she'd come to my room, and I'd wake up to her hand in my pants, and it wasn't like the only time it happened too.
This is wild. How is she not in jail? He's legitimate. I guess he's just not pressing charges, but like, goodness, like, could you imagine if she did this to other people too, and other guys were coming out like, yeah, you're not the only one after this video? That'd be crazy.
I was so like used to it. I was so used to it that it, I don't know, it was just like normal.
That's so crazy. That is intense. I don't know what to say. I mean, that's dangerous. That's really aggressive, effed up behavior. That is straight up. That's just straight up essay. That's horrible. It's crazy that he's been carrying this around for all these years and just kind of keeping it to himself.
Hell yeah, bro.
Wow.
What else you
For
gonna
me,
do?
that I didn't think there was such like a problem at all. Like part of me wants to blame myself for being nice and sticking around after so many times, but now I realize that I was stuck in this like manipulative cycle of her acting like she extremely cared about me, and then that night she would do stuff to me, and it was just so normal for me. I got used to it, which sucks. I feel like no one should have to go through. It's weird. I almost felt like I owed it to her for some reason. I don't know why. Like I felt like she had this like control, like this power over me. It was I don't know. I was like stuck. And I feel like you should never have to like worry about like falling asleep and waking up to one of your good friends like touching you. You know, I was like terrified for some reason, which she shouldn't be from like a person. One night she started ripping off my.
Is that male privilege, right there, peeking out a little bit? I mean, yeah, it is terrifying because she's unhinged, she's unbalanced, she's sneaking in your house. She's obviously a little cuckoo. I mean,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's terrifying. And actually, in truth, probably women feel that amplified times 100. If there's a creepy guy, it's freaky, it's dangerous. Ooh, dudes have that crazy energy. But yeah, it's scary. I don't blame you, dude.
My clothes, touching my crotch area, trying to make out with me. I mean, it was just like same old. Like I say, Sienna, stop, go back to the couch, Sienna, stop. So I like locked the door. She was trying to get in, and I literally just slept on the floor, and she finally went to bed. It's like very awkward the next morning, and she'll say sorry, and I'm like, Sienna, this happens so many times. Like, you do not respect boundaries. You just, oh my god. That night we went home, made sure we had like different rooms to stay in, and I got in the shower, and she picked the lock of my door. I made sure to lock the doors, but she picked the lock and walked in. I was in the shower. All I heard was just like the door opening, and that's when I was just done. I screamed at her, told her to get out. She started crying. She went and slept in my bed, and I went to my friend's trundle bed.
Dude, if this is all true, that's she needs psychiatric help, man.
She needs more than that. She needs asylum help, insane asylum help. And the fact that she's been able to play it off this whole time before he's even talked about this and say like and act like it's not that big of a deal, and still be working with people after this again, acting like, and this isn't the first instance. That was all we knew, was that Hawaii trip where she was on top of him and he was blacked out. All of this happened before that and after that, I think. I don't know what the timeline is with this, but that's so effed. That's so effed.
That's crazy, dude. That's intense, like obsession, stalker, essay behavior. It does a little bit also make me wonder what's going on at her house, that she's exhibiting such extreme behavior like that. I would ask those parents a few questions, man, because that is not typical. That is antisocial behavior. Yeah, that's horrible, man. It's scary.
It was like upstairs, and that's how like the night ended. So now we're caught up to when everything went public, when Mason posted his tweet. Since everything was brought to social media, multiple guys came out to me and said that Sienna did similar things to them. And
what? Oh my god. So
basically, I'll show the text right now. I asked all of them for permission to post, crossed out all their names. We don't want her to hurt anybody else. We don't want anyone to go through that experience. At the time, it feels humiliating. You feel like you have no power. You have no control in the situation. You feel, I don't know, it's horrible. I just want to start off by saying that I didn't stay silent in the situation over these last couple months. I talked to my friends, my family, my parents, counselors, and I was able to process everything. I don't think I'll ever be the same person I was before Sienna. It sucks, and there's gonna be people that try to take advantage of you and get you at your most vulnerable state, and that's
Told you.
That's not fair. That's not fair at all. And it's a lot of the time it's usually like the nice,
You can tell this is actual raw.
the nice
feelings.
people that like let people walk all over them, and that was me. Like I let everyone.
Yeah, I mean, my initial reaction to all this is that very mature response. The fact that he took the time to talk with his parents, counselors, friends, because he really didn't comment on this whole situation for months. This whole thing broke out months ago, and
ask for
it really
their
shows that he put a lot of
opinion.
thought into
Exactly.
before making this video or saying anything about it.
Not-
But the fact that she's
hasn't
actually
said
doing
one
this to other
word
people too
about
is,
how,
I don't know. I think she might be a menace. If
how
all of this is true, you know, I mean, there needs to be an intervention with this girl. And right now,
her
she is
actions are
denying
being
everything, and a lot of friends
normalized.
and public figures are running
Nothing
defense for her.
about that, it's just how he feels,
Really big names, you
what
know, like
he's
Tana
been through.
Mongu, Dave Porkboy. Simply because, you know, she's a woman and he's a guy. Like you said, I think the humiliation aspect really drives a lot of these feelings, to feel like you're embarrassed, like, this is a woman, I'm a man, I should be able to protect myself. It's what am I going to complain that this girl's trying to come on to me? It's, you know, it's,
Right,
you
right.
doubt your own feelings. Like, I feel like this is wrong. It makes me feel horrible, but people are going to judge me for talking to them about this. Yeah, I mean, if she was a man, she'd be in jail. She'd be done, dude. Or on the other hand, you know, there could be James Charles. Well, nobody cares that James Charles does it. Is that
Yeah,
because
but
it's a
he's
man-on-man
also
crime?
Not even only that, it's because of he's, you know, a part of the community, and people are very, very slow to cancel people part of a certain community, you know, regardless of what they do.
God, people just have a lot of. They be cutting a lot of slack for.
But that's actually not really that true, because I just finished watching Cheer, and somebody was a part of the community, and he got thrown and is looking at serious jail time. So it's more, I feel like, just the fact that has such a even larger audience, such a huge influence on a lot of people, has a lot of money also, and is a certain color. I think that plays into it.
For essayists lately, man. Especially when people have a proven track record of doing this to people, like not an isolated incident. For example, what he showed, Sienna May's been doing it to many guys. James Charles is doing it to many
Yeah.
young men and boys.
Yeah.
This is the problem. This is something that we need to intervene with. And it's not just when men do it to women.
As of Sienna, I don't know if she'll ever be sorry. I don't know if she'll ever learn from what she did, or she'll ever admit to what she did.
Has she talked to you since?
But I just don't want her to do this to other people. If you've been through a similar situation as me, I encourage you just to speak out to anyone. And trust me, it helps so much. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for listening to me and letting me take time and breathe and process everything.
Yeah, so overall, I think he did a good job defending himself, explaining himself, bringing awareness to, you know, men who are victims, because this stuff happens, right? I think men are probably much less likely to report something like this, to talk about something like this. They probably are more likely to downplay it, to keep it to themselves. Again, I'm not trying to minimize women who this happens to at all, but I do think it's a great look into the men's experience into, you know, being the victim of this. Yeah, so, you know, I think it's just important to be aware that being the victim of this.
Victims of SV statistics. SV affects millions of Americans every 68 seconds. An American is SA'd. On average, there are 463,634 victims aged 12 or older of R and SA each year in the United States. Younger people are at the highest risk of SV. The majority of SA victims are under 30. You have 15% for the age between 12 and 17, 54% for the age range between 18 and 34, 28% for the age range 35 to 64, and 3% for 65 plus. Stay aware. Don't lose sight of, you know, what's really happening. Always stay aware. Be vigilant. Put yourself around the right people like Jack did, his friends really helped him out and shed light to something that, you know, could have been swept under the rug. If you like the content, drop a sub. Thank you for watching, and let me know what you think about this whole situation.